Good morning, I'm Sunetra Choudhury, political editor of the Hindustan Times, bringing you all that you need to know about COVID-19 on Monday, the 19th of October. First up, our top story. The question that we've all been asking ourselves ever since the pandemic struck in February this year in India is, when will all this end? Well, an indication seems to come from the top health panel led by Dr. V.K. Paul, who says that if we continue to take the same kind of restrictions and cautions about COVID-19, then we may see this ending by February, as early as February. He based this on the recent dipping of numbers. In fact, there has been a 33% drop in the number of new cases since last month. At the moment, we are seeing 56,000. In fact, that was in the last 24 hours, but the average daily number of cases has been 63,000, which is significantly lower than the highs that we were seeing in September. In fact, the experts are pointing out that at the moment, the current number of active cases is at about 800,000, and if we continue to remain cautious, then we may see that number dipping to less than 40,000 by February. So that is extremely optimistic news, but perhaps the key phrase in all of this is everyone being very cautious because of the fact that we have seen second waves in many regions. Now, speaking of second waves, if we look at it, and Hindustan Times has done an analysis across the world of how and where the wave struck. So if we look at the first wave, that is what happened in Wuhan, China. After that, the second wave, which was around Europe, where we saw large number of cases and deaths being reported from there. And in fact, perhaps the worst number of deaths that we've seen anywhere in the world is what happened in the second wave in Europe. Till now, the total tally of people that have been killed in Europe is more than 250,000. The third wave is what we saw in America. It also coincided with cases exploding here in India. And the fourth wave is what we are seeing again now in Europe. So that is the fourth wave. So 4 waves of the coronavirus pandemic hitting different parts of the world. America, of course, continuing to be very, very problematic and have large number of cases. But this is the fourth wave that we're seeing in Europe and higher numbers than before. But what has happened is that since the second wave, doctors and healthcare workers have become better at managing the pandemic, and the number of people that are being killed by the coronavirus is much lower than we had at that time. Now, one of the ways to manage the coronavirus has been hand washing. And to emphasize this, perhaps a new study that has been done by Japanese researchers finds that the coronavirus can stay and survive on the human skin for up to 9 hours. Now, they found this by looking at the skin and autopsy of skin of someone who had died just 24 hours before. And they said that it had the capacity to last for up to 9 hours, which makes us even more careful and should warn us to continuously wash our hands as often as we can. It also, however, pointed out that if alcohol is used, then this can remove it in 15 seconds. And if you want to compare how the coronavirus compares to other viruses like the influenza virus, well, that can only survive on the human skin for 1.8 hours, so much less than the potency of the coronavirus. So really important study in order to show us just how important it is to keep ourselves clean and constantly wash, and if you don't have access to soap at that time, to use sanitizer, alcohol-based sanitizer. Now, finally, the story that has appeared in the Hindustan Times about the historic Shri Ram Bharatiya Kala Kendra Ramleela performance and how it almost didn't happen. It has started off now, but only after there were various corona tests that had to take place, quarantines, and all the kind of measures that had taken place. In fact, usually this event, which has been on for the last 63 years, takes place with 600 people watching every day. Well, these days it's only 100 because you need to have social distancing and because of all the COVID measures in place. But at least they didn't have to switch to their plan B, which was relaying the Ramleela over YouTube. It's a fascinating story. Do read that. And for everything else and other news updates, keep tracking them on hindustantimes.com.